So we started the week generally thinking, how far is this collapse going to go? Like, how far is this collapse in Syria going to go? Because it was very, very obvious that the rebels already, taking Aleppo was huge, massive for them. And then, of course, they started to push south towards Hama. And that literally happening just 2 or 3 days ago before making this big achievement as well. And not only, but this morning we are now waking up to the fact that southern rebels who had made a deal with Assad, seeing the fact that Assad's forces were, just not even engaging the rebels, but just running away and turning around, not even bothering to fight or engage them, realized, well, hold on, why should we stick to any of these deals? They now have pretty much at this point, I believe, entered, or at least by the time this video will come out, because it's been a while since we saw this morning, they will have entered Damascus. Not only that, but we now know that Assad has fled. Where to? We don't know. Maybe he'll go to Iran. Maybe he'll go to Moscow. Wouldn't surprise me, of course, if he went to Moscow. But a lot of people are, I'm quite happy about this because this really does mean an end to the Syrian civil war. Like, it really does. All sides pretty much unanimously agreed, well, except ISIS, their top goal for this, their top goal for this was, we want Assad gone. That's what they've been saying for the longest time. We just want Assad gone. And now he has gone. Obviously, we'll see what happens. I am going to be very optimistic about this. I really do want to be very, very optimistic about this. I think this is a big chance for all these sides now to actually come together and generally start to create something in the future. You've got the current prime minister there who has said he will remain in position until there can be, a transfer of power, whoever takes over, or what, Syria sort of is now sort of to become. I think that is very, very good. You may not like him, but him saying that, meaning that these institutions are going to be sort of kept running, which again, any future Syrian government will need these institutions, is going to be good. That is going to be very good. That is going to help a lot in the transition of sort of power between this and whatever government is to then eventually take over Syria. There is a lot of celebrating this morning. You are seeing a lot of stuff all over the internet of people celebrating the fall of Assad. You are seeing videos of people being freed who have been imprisoned for decades, or at least a decade, imprisoned by Assad. There is now, of course, talk about them, or at least the rebels, going to release Assad's secret papers. So it is very likely, maybe within the next 24, 48 hours, we will probably see a lot of communications from Assad to various people around the world. In fact, John Bolton did an interview on CNN saying that Tulsi Gabbard should probably be very, very worried and afraid. Very worried and afraid indeed about what might be released there. So, yeah, that could get interesting very, very quickly if that happens. But hey, if this spells the downfall of Tulsi Gabbard as well, that will certainly be good. At least on that angle for maybe America. But Trump will probably put someone else in just as crazy and lunatic. So swings and roundabouts, really, I suppose, on that end. The other, of course, funny thing we have seen as well in this is the crying, the absolute crying of the pro-Assad social media sphere, because there has been for a very, very long time a very, very pro-Assadist core social media team. George Galloway, we've seen this guy before. He's not changed on this. He did a massive cope stream last night, along with along with Scott Ritter, of all people. Um, so yeah, the fact that he was crying last night, generally fantastic to see that they were sort of crying that because once again, George Galloway is a fool. He's an idiot. He really should not be listened to on this type of subject. Uh, but he was crying last night because, well, he's also lost a source of funding. But the other, of course, big one as well was Syrian Girl. If you do not know who this person is, this person has been like pro Assad since day one, uh, joining in on all like the like conspiracy theories, everything you can say, and seeing her absolute meltdown over this is generally quite fantastic. It is the ultimate comeuppance. What's going to happen to her? Who knows? But I don't even think even she is even in Syria anymore. So there's that. But one of the things I think we want to ask: why did this collapse happen so fast? Now, last time, of course, we talked about it. It was in that context of they haven't got that Russian support because everything that Russia currently has is over in Ukraine. Even some people are like, pro Assad on Twitter are now saying that the whole Ukraine stuff was to get Syria to fall and capitulate and to Assad to go. Um, Again, like I say, their crazy worldview. However, I want to show you this. This is a Twitter thread by an actual soldier in Syria who's fought for one of the rebels. So we'll go over to this just quickly. He says, I fought in Syria for over half a decade as an SDF soldier. In that time, I studied war, drew out battle plans, and learned now to know my enemy. When the HST now seized the first village, I saw what few others could. Take a peek now at what is coming next. So, Assad forces are now done. Hamas is indefensible. His best troops were in Hama. And when the time came for now close quarters urban combat, they folded. The SSA must now retreat, taking forces and material to the Nashuru Mountains, now to the very last defensible line. And this is where this starts to have the Russian angle coming in. If they do not move soon, they will risk losing both troops and resources they cannot afford to replace. Turas is now a non-negotiable for the regime, as it is home to Russia's naval base, the only reason that Assad is now still in power. This is a chess game now, but Assad's pieces are now being swept off the board faster than he can actually move them. The SSA now needs to set up fortifications stretching from Cac de Chevaliers to the M4 highway, heading to Likrira. They must now deny access to the coastline at all costs. The loss of Taurus does not just jeopardize Assad, it threatens Russia's entire Mediterranean foothold. The base is now key to resupplying the remnants of the Syrian Arab army. Lose it, and it is game over. He then goes on to talk about some of the things going on here. The interview this guy gave on CNN, and talks about sort of Turkey, of course, not pleased with that, but that's not what maybe we'll talk about that another time. But that is why Syria folded so fast. That is why these Assad forces just really just crumbled. It was just too quick. They basically seemed to have no response to this. And when, of course, I think they were most hoping that Russia would probably come in, there was nothing coming. Not even Wagner forces, because, well, they were taken out of Syria to go and fight in Bakhmut. They were then, after the little coup that Yeni Prigozhin then had, they were then moved over to Africa, where things have not been going well for them either. So, yeah, no, shall we say, Russian forces coming to save Assad, especially now. No airstrikes, no nothing. And I think even they sort of start to realize the game was up, that it was game over by that point. And like I say, now I think there is a genuine moment here for some serious hope that you can actually end this civil war for good that has been going on for well over a decade now. So hopefully that is what we start to see now. that we can now at least see an end to the fighting, and that Syria can at last have some form of peace now. So that is the hope, of course, going forward. But like I say, the fun thing out of this is all these pro-Assad people crying their eyes out, because for years they have been spouting so much propaganda, and not only that, but so much probably over the next coming weeks is also going to come out about the regime. And to see how they're going to spin it, oh, that's going to be very fun indeed to watch them cry about that and cope about that. But yeah, these people, it's shocking that they have such large platforms, but there you go. But yeah, maybe not anymore. Maybe not anymore after this. So, as always, let me know what you think down below. And of course, as always, we'll see you all next time.